Hello, everyone, and happy Saturday to all of you. I'm very excited to be connecting with you today, and we're going to get into it. We're going to give it maybe one more minute just to give people time to join the chat. This magical room that we're in. And I'm just going to make sure in the meantime that my mic is loud as can be. There you go. That should be even better now. Thank you for being here with me today, you guys. Thank you. And good morning. I feel like I need to raise this just a tad. 1 second. Okay. Cool. All right. So welcome, everyone. Welcome, Care Bears. I haven't really planned much, to be honest. But there's this message that keeps coming into my mind. And yeah, I've got my charger. Thank you. I did good today. I broke a pattern. There's a message that keeps cropping up in my field, and since yesterday, and it blew my mind when I received this message. I've been getting a lot of downloads lately, but the message was that our physical eyes as a humanity, our physical eyes have blinded us. And I want you to really chew on that for a minute. This idea that our physical eyes that are meant to help us navigate this reality have instead blinded us. They have placed a blindfold on our spiritual sight. Now, obviously, we don't want to blame the physical eyes because they are a gift from God, from Source, from the universe. However, I want you to think about that. We got sucked into a material plane of existence. We got pulled into deceptiveness with our own personal lives. So a lot of you might be thinking I'm here to talk about the current affairs on our world, and I'm not. I'm here to talk about our personal lives because there are big changes ahead, especially in the fall. You see, our physical eyes were meant to be kind of like those virtual reality goggles where you can see where you're going. But because we are vibratory beings, the world that we were born into started to outweigh or outmeasure the frequency of our soul, the frequency of our higher self, which resulted in us getting enticed, getting seduced, getting sucked into physicality. And so if you can imagine that this world is a soup of programming, this world is a soup of limiting beliefs created by man who was disconnected from God, from Source. Then imagine you jump into this ocean called life, and you get drenched in all of this programming. And now the frequencies of man, the frequencies of the material plane, and all of these limiting programs and ideas and beliefs and perceptions are automatically soaked up by you because you don't know any different. Your own family probably brought you into this world from an unconscious place. And we love our families. But I want to share something with you that blew me away last week. I was thinking to myself that love never changes. love is immutable. Love is unchanging. Love is eternal. It is constant. Love is what this universe is composed of. It's what guides us. It's what takes care of us. It's what protects us. It's what delivers the goods. So this universe is composed of love. So I was thinking to myself, and get ready for this one because this is a biggie. I was thinking to myself, love is conscious. It's not selfish. It's not egoically driven. So if, let's say, you've been born into a family that to this day, has never apologized to you for their unconscious behaviors, for instance, forcing you to do something you didn't want to do, forcing you to go to school when you didn't want to do that, forcing you to get a job when you just wanted to rest, and to this day they haven't apologized, then they're still running this unconscious programming. So then you have to start to question, and again, I'm sharing this from a place of love. It's just to get your wheels turning a little bit. Then you have to question, when they conceived you, when your parents conceived you, they were operating at the same level of consciousness that they're at now, or maybe a little less than, but that unconscious was still there. So did they really conceive you from a place of pure love? Did they really conceive you from a place of pure love to serve you rather than to own you? Did they? Because love is always the same. In other words, you can do no wrong when it comes to love. That's why I always tell people that your true partner, your true significant other, has been with you your whole life. Because they're not going to love you conditionally. It doesn't matter if you slip up. It doesn't matter if you drop a carton of milk. It doesn't matter if you make mistakes. Your true partner is unconditionally loving. So your true partner has been with you your entire life. Think about that. So now just think about how your parents, they brought you into this world, but they didn't necessarily do it for the sake of serving you and supporting you and listening to you. They were programmed. So they were doing it from a place of ego. They were operating in accordance with what society told them to do. They perhaps did it because they wanted to be perceived by their friends and family a certain way. And it was never really about you. Now, we don't want to fault them for that, but it's something to chew on. Because love is conscious, and love never changes. Love is constant, and love is conscious. You know, when you love someone unconditionally, you get out of your own way. Say, hey, how can I make this right? What do you need from me? That is love. It never changes. But it's there in service and support to you. So did your family give you birth from a place of love, pure love, unadulterated love, or did they do it from a place of ego? Because if to this day they haven't apologized to you for all their mistakes or for not listening to you, or maybe they're still not hearing you, then you have to be question, what was their intention, if there was any, when they gave you birth? Probably just ego. Probably just ego. So that's not what this video is about. This video is about how our physical eyes have blinded us. How we've had these blindfolds on for a very long time, disabling our spiritual sight, disabling our inner vision, because we got caught up and twirled up in a physical world that is but an illusion. Everything you see around you is an illusion. We gave way too much power to the physical plane of existence. And I'm going to share a story with you that happened yesterday, because more of us are being called to this higher resonance of attuning ourselves to our original frequency, to our native frequency, which doesn't have the same kind of eyes as us, but it knows everything about you. Everything. It knows you better than you know yourself. But it's a feeling. It's a resonance. It's a flow. And all of us need to start tuning into that. Because the message I got, the message I got yesterday is that the universe is, if you were meant to have an extraordinary life, there's been a cutoff point. And I felt the shift yesterday. The shift was, the universe is not going to give you what comes from ego, what you covet, what you desire from ego, especially if you were one of the chosen ones. So if you've been wondering why what you're desiring hasn't manifested, it's because the universe loves you that much. Your higher self loves you that much. Because so often we think we know what we want, but it's nothing in comparison with what the higher self has up its sleeve for you. Your higher self has plans that far exceed what you have in mind for yourself, because your mind is just your mind. Your mind is a lot dumber than your higher self, than the intelligence of the universe that is guiding you, that is supporting you, that unconditionally loves you. It's always been there. Because love is always there. It's always guided you because love is always guiding you. It's always said to you, you are perfect as you are. I support you in your decisions. But oftentimes we have an idea of what we think we want. And it's not even remotely close to what the universe is intending to bring you. The universe wants to give you the world. The universe wants to give you your own universe. And if you're there like, but I just want to make this amount of money and I just want to find my lover, that's a peanut. The universe is like, where's your sense of deservability? Where's your sense of self-worth? You are the inheritance of God. The energy of God, of Source, is coursing through your body. It is in your veins. The magic is in your veins. Why would you want to shrink yourself down? Don't you know that you're worthy of so much more? Don't you know that you're worthy of an entire universe that would be your own? You are here to become a master creator. You are here to understand the inner workings of the universe so that you can one day have your own universe, which you already have. You just may not be able to see it. And your ability to see it and perceive it is going to hinge on how much you think you're worthy of that. The more that you know that you are worthy, the more that you start trusting this divine force, this divine intelligence that is the universe, the more you're going to start to open up your dimensional access. The more you're going to be able to gain a bigger purview or a greater capacity to be able to peer into what's already yours. It's all yours, but we have to be willing to claim it. And they don't have to contradict each other. They don't have to be enemies, meaning I have my own universe and you have your own universe. There's plenty for everyone. There are no shortages. So I can walk around in my own universe, meaning in what I'm wishing to experience. And that doesn't mean I'm taking away from your universe, because you're going to want and desire a different universe than my own. So there's plenty for everyone. This universe is unlimited, my friends. Thank you for the donations. I see you, by the way. Thank you, Everything East Bay. Thank you, Ramona. Thank you, Tor. So I'm going to get into my story now. So many of you know Rex. He's one of my dearest people in my life. And his dog was my best friend. I would take her to the coffee shops. with me. She was my baby. Her name was Riley. I'm going to show you a photo of her. And we put her to sleep yesterday. So I spent the entire day yesterday bawling my eyes out, weeping uncontrollably as I was holding her paw, because she had me at, you know how they say she had me at hello? She had me at her teeth. Her teeth just stuck out. So this is Riley. I don't know if you could see her. And I don't know if you can see her tooth. She had me at her tooth, and I fell in love with her. She was my best friend. And yesterday, I was sitting on my couch, and around 4 p.m. every day, I turn my phone on Do Not Disturb. And I walk to my neighborhood and I have a coffee and I meditate. And I was chatting with Lori at 4 p.m., which was kind of unlike me because I would have showered by then already. And my phone would have already been on Do Not Disturb. And my higher self kept saying, just stay on the couch, just be in this flow right now, be in this divine rhythm. Don't. If you're enjoying this chat with Lori, you guys know Lori Ladd. If you're enjoying this chat with Lori, just sit there. There's no rush. You're going to get to your coffee shop when you get to your coffee shop. But something had me glued to the couch and I couldn't get up. And you know, when your phone is on Do Not Disturb, you don't receive text messages. You don't receive phone calls. And usually my phone is on Do Not Disturb from 4 to around 7 p.m. because that's my time with spirit. That's my time with my higher self. I get to introspect and reflect and meditate. So around 4:05, 4:10 p.m., now mind you, I still haven't showered, nothing. My friend Rex texted me and said, hey, Riley isn't doing too good. And would you like to come? And I said, absolutely. So I threw on my clothes. I was there in 5 minutes. And had I been in my neighborhood, I would have missed that. And we cried for a straight 3 hours. We took her to the hospital and we were with her the entire time as we put her to sleep. And it was a very emotionally draining day. It knocked the wind out of every sail. And I came back home completely depleted, but I love Riley so much. And this ties in with today's message, which is that we need to entrain ourselves with the resonance of what isn't understood by the human mind. My human mind was like, why haven't I left the house yet? And yet this frequency that was outweighing that was the resonance of my higher self. My higher self was like, just sit, just sit, just sit. It's a state of flow. And so whenever we start to entrain with the invisible realms, with the unseeable, it's not going to make any logical sense to the human mind. Okay? But this is where we're being called now. We're being called into a higher space, into a higher place, because we are fundamentally vibratory beings. And over time, we've been overly attached to the physical realm, which can only bring you regurgitated manifestations, okay? So if you're too attached to the physical plane, to people, to things, to what you think you want in life, the most you're going to manifest is what you source from what's already been sourced. So I'll break that down. You're only going to manifest or produce results from already produced results. So if I see someone launching their business and I want to copy them, and I'm like, I aspire to be like them, then the most I will get is a successful business that mimicked that person's formula or that mimicked that person's approach. And you will never be able to be exceptional in life if you follow what's already been created. This is why we all have to be courageous enough and brave enough to go against the grain of the wood, to step outside of the box of conformity and what we've been shown and what we've been taught and what we've been conditioned into believing. And we start following this unseen resonance that doesn't have physical eyes, because our physical eyes have blinded us. The world around us is so seductive. The world around us is so enticing. You know, if I had been thinking about, but I need to go get my coffee right now, that would have been my physical eyes, my five senses that are accustomed to being in a particular routine. But my higher self knew that Riley was dying that day. My higher self said, wait, wait, wait. And that's because we know nothing in comparison with what our higher self knows. So the reason why I'm sharing this today is because there are major changes that are going to be taking effect in the fall. I saw this very clearly, my friends. So this is somewhat of a August energy update leading into the fall. August is all about the preparatory phase. August is a month of preparation. It is the month where we start setting the stage, or we set the tone for what's about to happen in our physical lives. But what's going to happen is going to be contingent upon whether we choose to attune ourselves to this resonance that doesn't have physical eyes, but has a different pair of eyes, or if we're going to stay to the old way, if we're going to stick to the old methods and keep being overly enticed by the physical world and what we think it has to offer us. You need to remember that new universes are birthed from within. New worlds emerge from within based on where you place your focus. So if you're attached to something external, then again, the best you're going to be able to do is going to be that you end up back with that boyfriend that you keep obsessing over. That's a physical attachment. So yes, you're going to get what you want, but it won't be what your higher self wanted for you. Because remember that when you start to release attachments, it's never easy. You grieve, you cry, you let go. But when you do this, you can sense your transformation happening in real time. And you're never the same person again once you complete that process of grieving. So when you let go of a boyfriend, when you let go of a girlfriend, when you let go of a business, you're letting go of your attachments, because deep down you know that person isn't good for you. You know why? Because your true person has always been there in your heart. Your true person has never loved you conditionally. Your true person has never said, oh, you said this, I'm gone, I'm breaking up with you. Oh, I cheated on you because I wasn't satisfied. No. Your true significant other is love. It is reflective of the love that you are when you start knowing how deserving you are of the entire world. I see so many people and I speak to so many people who are like, what can I do to win over my ex? What can I do? And that statement in and of itself comes from such a disempowered place. You didn't do anything wrong. You were expressing yourself. And that person loved you conditionally because you were still loving yourself conditionally. We always magnetically draw to ourselves how we regard ourselves. We always magnetically draw to ourselves how we regard ourselves. And as long as we do that, we are going to stay tethered to this physical world that is based in limitation, in a sense of lack, in a sense of I'm not good enough. All the conditioning and all the programming that humans have been imbued with, that people pumped and injected in us, which caused us to forget how divine we actually are. You are a divine being. There is a higher self guiding you every second of the day, trying to get you on board. A higher self that chose to deliberately stay behind, to be your guide. And it has access to everything that you're going through and more. You don't have to try to manifest anyone. You don't have to try to manifest anything, because your higher self has all of the intel. All you have to do is release your resistance, release your insistence, and surrender into this greater intelligence, which is your higher self. That's all you have to do, is to flow with the higher self, to allow this invisible river of intelligence to guide you, to carry you like a leaf. The reason why we suffer is because we hold on and cling on to these ideas and to these beliefs that are keeping us separate from the higher self, that are creating a gap between us and this higher intelligence. How do we bridge the gap? We bridge the gap by letting go of our resistance, by knowing that we are not in control, that everything that we sought to experience in this physical life was already architected pre-birth. It's already been laid out for you. And the more that you insist upon these outcomes that are coming from ego, the less likely you are to experience your glory in this physical world. So there is choice involved. I just want to be very clear. There is choice involved in this life. But it's already, your highest potential has already been laid out. Some people live in fear. They're drenched in fear and trauma their entire life. They don't want to listen to that internal voice. They don't want to follow that internal GPS system. So they never amount to the potential that was already designed for them. This is a co-collaborative effort. We are co-creating with the higher self that is your original. Came in so loud and so clear yesterday. Those of you who want to live a spiritual life, which isn't concerned about what's going on physically, which is committed to this unseeable realm, are not going to receive anything that's coming from ego, because you've already signed on to this higher path by tuning into messages like this, by tuning into yourself and meditating every day. Why in the hell would your ego be able to manifest what you think you want if you're doing the work to attune yourself to this higher resonance, which is your higher self? You've already subconsciously agreed that you will not just exist, but that you will live an extraordinary life. So if ever you wonder, why hasn't this happened for me yet? It's because your higher self is pointing a flashlight to what you need to reorganize or rearrange within your vibrational structure to help you absolve from the physical world. In other words, when there's something that you are getting too fixated on, and you're like, I don't understand. I've been praying for my partner to come in. I've been praying for my business to succeed. I've been praying to find my purpose in life, and it's not happening. It's because you're still too attached to the material plane and how you think it's going to go down, how you think it's going to unfold for you. And your higher self is trying to reorient you. Your higher self is trying to get you to reprioritize what you're focusing on. It wants you to get rid of the illusion. It wants you to untangle from the illusion that you're caught in. And sometimes it's really just about reframing our perspective, reframing our perception. You understand? So if you do decide that from now on, you're going to choose the path of least resistance, meaning really trusting how you feel, really trusting how you feel against all odds, then this upcoming fall, physical changes will be taking effect in your life. I kept seeing a lot of people finding each other, soulmates. I kept seeing more time in nature, returning to simplicity, coming back to our values as spiritual beings, and living a life that's so deliciously simple and yet so undeniably exciting at the same time. So again, this month of August is a preparation phase, meaning it is boot camp. This is boot camp time. This is, I want to go do this, but for some reason my body is telling me to get in a bubble bath. I'm wanting to go see my friends, but for some reason I'm not in the mood. And I'm going to trust that over all things, over all options. Because the one option that will never lead you astray is your native frequency, is your original frequency that is wanting you to attune to it so that you can materialize this extraordinary life for yourself. Is this making sense, you guys? So remember that whenever you start to doubt yourself or question something, I was speaking to someone who was like, I don't really want to study for 4 years, but I feel like I should go back to school. That's a no-no. That's a no-no. The second you have doubt, you're back in the mind. You're trying to convince yourself. You're trying to justify. You're playing ping pong in your mind. We don't do that anymore. If you don't feel like studying and going back to school, that's it. Now, if you do end up going back to school, it's okay. You're not going to be reprimanded for that. You're not going to be punished for that. But what you are going to do is delay. You're going to delay. You're going to create a chain reaction. You're going to postpone the reality that you could be entering now if you choose yourself and your original frequency over what you think you should be doing. Okay? So you don't want to postpone anything anymore. You want to stop investing in realities that you know you're not feeling. Even if there might be a positive in it, it doesn't matter. We don't live with limitation anymore. You don't want to go to school, you don't go to school. Simple. You have to follow what you feel. Your emotions play an integral part in you integrating higher dimensional energy. It is through your emotions, it is through your feeling state that you remember who you are. It is through your feeling state that you start to open up and stretch into your multidimensionality. Don't resist what you're feeling, because the ego is very sneaky. The ego is going to say, but you really should go to school because once you graduate, you'll have this diploma. But what did I say earlier? This is really important. This part is really important. I just want to give a shout out real quick. My Conscious Life, thank you. Everything East Bay, thank you, Amanda. All right, I want to explain this very thoroughly, okay, and very succinctly. If you're questioning whether you should go back to school, if you're still reaching out to your ex, if you're questioning if you should move to another state, there is an energy in there through your feeling state that is asking to be assimilated, that is asking to be ingested and digested. Okay? Once you follow your feeling state and you say, well, I'm just going to throw that on the shelf right now. I don't want to go to school. I just want to be in my feeling state. You are going to transform this energy within your body. By the time you finish transforming that energy within your body, you will no longer be a match to the timeline of going back to school. You will no longer be a match to reaching out to your ex. You will no longer be a match to anything that you were considering. Because by feeling what you were feeling, you moved yourself into a higher octave of vibration. So it is through integration of our emotions that we transform ourselves. And then we're no longer compatible with what we thought we wanted, because what we thought we wanted was just a reflection of what we needed to integrate. Okay? That right there is notable. What we thought we wanted was just a reflection of what we needed to integrate. So remember, every option that is readily available to you now is based on the vibration that you're occupying. Every option that you're entertaining in your mind, keyword mind, that's not the heart. Every option that you're considering within your mind is really just a reflection of where you're currently vibrating. And if you're doubting it, if you're questioning it, if you're wondering, should I do this? There is an emotion that is clouding your thinking, that is impairing your judgment, that is needing to be integrated. Once you integrate that emotion, those options won't be the same anymore. They're going to dissipate. They're going to disappear. They're gone. They were just showing up in your field as a catalyst or as a reflection of what you needed to integrate. And now you're going to be transposing yourself to a higher octave of reality. And now new options are going to pop up in your mind. And then the key is to not fall hook, line, and sinker for them. The key is to not buy into them. The key is to keep elevating. Keep elevating. Don't let the physical world of these mental options vacuum you. Don't let them pull you in. Because you're a vibrational being. That is who you are. That is what you are. And these options that we vision into, these options that we're able to peer into, are physical. Think about that. So they still hold a lower vibration because they are physical in nature. Everything's being flipped, my friends. Everything is being turned upside down. The only way we're going to live from now on is going within ourselves, following our internal compass, tuning into our peaceometer. I call it the peaceometer. Does this feel peaceful? Woo, it feels peaceful. Great, then do that. Or does it feel less than peaceful? If it feels less than peaceful, there's an emotion that needs to be integrated. Remember, your physical eyes have blinded you. But we don't want to blame them. What it is that the physical world is so heavily seductive. And it pulls at our strings. It plays us like a freaking harp because we were born into a world that was highly unconscious. But we came here to remember. We came here to remember that it's just a trap. That this higher resonance that doesn't have physical anything, it doesn't have physical eyes, it doesn't have a nose, it doesn't have a mouth. It can taste and it can smell and it can see, but from a much higher dimensional viewpoint. Much higher. You know, when your friends invite you to a party and you think about going, in a way, you're kind of sampling the energy. You're tasting it. You're smelling it. No, I don't really want that. But it's a higher sense. It's a sixth sense. It does everything and more. It's here to help you fulfill your assignment on earth. It's here to help you and support you in carrying out your mission as a being of love and light. You didn't come here to do this on your own. And I'm sorry if you think you did. But that boyfriend that's ghosting you, or your friends who are canceling you, that is not unconditional love. Your higher self is unconditionality. It wants what you want and more. Meaning what you think you want is nothing compared to what it wants for you. Nothing. It's going to be so much bigger than that. But we have to lean into this intelligence. So question everything that you see. Question everything that's enticing and ask yourself, am I wanting to do this because I have a blindfold on? Am I wanting to do this because I'm tapping into the temporary high it's going to give me? That high is fleeting. You're going to have a crash. Or do I want to live a life that's consistent and magical? Because I'm not concerned about what's going on around me. I'm focused on my resonance. All right? So this month is all about entraining ourselves to this higher state of being. It's about transposing ourselves to this higher octave of reality. And not everyone is going to choose the road less traveled. A lot of people are going to choose to stick with the old format, which is okay. They're not ready to go there. They give too much credence to what they see, to who they see, to the emotions that are fooling them into thinking that that would be empowering. You know, our emotions are meant to be converted. They're meant to be alchemized. But when they're not alchemized, we become a slave to them. My best friend calls it, I think, I want, I feel. You don't question anything. You're like, okay, I miss my ex. I'm going to reach out to him. That's an unintegrated emotion. You don't have to do anything when you're connected to your higher self. Nothing. Remember, your higher self is like a piñata. The more that you attune yourself to it, it's going to crack open and give you all the gifts in the world. So if you're impulsive in life, if you're impatient in life, if you're worried in life, if you're stressed in life, if you just want to get to your purpose but you don't know what it is, that is an emotion that is fooling you into thinking you want it. It's not the truth. It's you being blinded by your physical sight. It's an emotion that's unintegrated. So what do? We sit with it. We feel it. We let go of all those options. You don't need options when you're abundant. You don't need options when you're limitless. You are the only option, and you can have it your way. You can play by your own rules. You don't have to follow any rules, because if you follow rules of what everyone else around you is doing, the most you're going to be able to produce is the highest outcome of what's already been done. That's the most you're going to get, is you're going to produce the highest outcome of what's already been done. You're just recycling energy. You're not generating new energy as a creator being of your own reality. You are here to be a master creator. You are here to stand in your power and say, I'm not going to make one more decision that doesn't feel right in my soul. I'm not going to sell my soul just to get a diploma. I'm not going to sell my soul just so that I can get back with my ex. I'm not going to sell my soul and launch a business that I'm not sure I want yet. No. You feel it. You don't try to avoid it. People who act on impulse are avoiding their emotions. They are avoiding their true self. Think about that. People who don't want to feel and who just want to launch that business because it's time, because that's what makes sense to the human, or who just want to go to the neighborhood to have a coffee because it's 4 p.m. Luckily, I didn't listen to that. People who do that are avoiding being connected to that resonance. And I was proud of myself yesterday because I stayed on my couch and I said, no, I'm not going anywhere. This feels really good. And then boom, the text came in. And I wouldn't have been able to be there with Riley and to hold her paw for 3 hours and to tell her how much I love her. So that's my message today, you guys. Don't avoid yourself. Don't ignore your original frequency because it truly wants the best for you. It doesn't want you to miss out on very precious moments in life. It doesn't want you to miss out on your true significant other that's going to be entering your life soon. It doesn't want to miss out on a vacation that you're meant to go on because you're too obsessed over this or that or the other. Your higher self wants everything. It wants the best for you. Things that you can't even fathom. All right, you guys? So if you'd like to support my messages, my link is feelgoodlife.com/donate. I don't expect donations, but I appreciate them. feelgoodlife.com/donate. And please, if you haven't subscribed, please do. And please like. And I'm sorry I look tired today, but yesterday was emotionally draining. I love you guys so much, and I'm sending you so much love.